Quite right too.
Yes.
One should always have a laptop computer in the car. And he connected it up, and it belched. And he said, "Oh look at this diesel particulate filter sensor blocked."
Do you mean the pound sign popped up?
Ka-ching! It's the only computer I've ever come across. When you press Windows and it goes, ching, it makes that Windows noise.
Yeah.
His computer, when he opens it, it goes ka-ching.
Yeah.
Anyway, he put it on and it came up that diesel particulate filter sensor blocked. Shock horror. There was 4 of us stood going, ooh. Anyway, he said, that's a problem, Dave, that's what it is. So he wiped all the memory, and my car actually forgot for a day there was a he thought it was a it could have been a key, but it wasn't. Anyway, he wiped it clean and he said, okay, try it out, I'll order this part for you and we'll get it tomorrow, we'll fit it and see how it goes. So I drove out the yard onto the main road and, well, 2 yards down the road, and it started, I don't want to go with you. So I got my stick out again and started beating the bonnet. And I went off and did a job, and I came back to him and I said, it's still no better, Tony, it needs, So he got his laptop out and he opened it. Ka-ching! And he said, oof, bad news, Dave. Oh, it's oof. And it could be this one here as well. Look, it's throwing this up. And I thought, what's got emptying the ashtray got to do with electronics? But anyway, and I said, I'll come back tomorrow. So I drove home with the car, whipping it from behind, yeah. I put it in 3rd gear and just stood behind it with a stick. Go on, yeah, go on. Anyway, he got home. Next day I took it back to him. He got the new part and fitted it. And he got the computer. Ka-ching! And he put it on and he said, it wants me to do a full regeneration of the diesel system. Ooh, what's this entail? So we read the instructions and it said, check the oil, check the water, make sure that there's nothing that can blow on the engine. And this is a process, and it will run the engine and tick over until it gets the temperature, and then it will speed the engine speed up, because it's a fly-by-wire, my car. Yeah, it's a computer that flies it, not me. I must make that quite clear. And he started this process off, and the engine's ticking over. It was quite warm because I did it on the motorway with a bigger stick, because you're going faster on the motorway, so you use a bigger stick, don't you? Anyway, it was quite warm up, and after a couple of minutes of ticking over, suddenly the computer took over, and that's when it really came into its own. I thought, we can make a record out of that. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. And the is she videoing this? I thought she's taking a lot of photos of this. Anyway, and the engine started revving up slowly up to 2,000 RPM, which is about, I could have just caught up the Wellington bomber at 2,500 revs. And then it started really, whoa, up to 3,500 RPM. Oh, you can the look on my face. I was stood there with my hands out, waiting to catch all the bits of them going to rain down when the pistons left the housing. Oh. Anyway, I did this for 10 minutes. 3,500 revs, 10 minutes. Smoke coming out the back of the car like it was an old fireplace with potato peelings. Yeah, potato peelings on fire back. Remember them days? Yeah. Cleaned all the soot away. Just think if we could throw some potato peelings into the engine of our cars. Just think how clean they would be.
Like they used to do with Red X into carpet.
That's right, I can remember doing that as a lad as a mechanic in a garage. Red X down the, and when they used to come up with fuel, fill up with fuel, can you put me a couple of shots in tank as well? Yeah. Anyway, we did this test and they checked out and they said it was okay. So he said, okay, just see how it goes, Dave, and you should be okay. So I pulled out of his yard onto the main road, set off down the road, and I got back out with my stick and started. Anyway, I gave up. That was Friday, and it was also Wednesday of this week. Thursday I had another look at it, and they said, oh, it's now coming up saying it's a throttle valve body that needs replacing. And that's £60 now. So a valve at £25 is now gone up to a £60 valve. And I thought, not having any of that. But he said, I'll order one and we'll see what it does. So I went on the motorway on Thursday, it was okay. Then Friday morning, no, not Friday morning, Thursday morning I did 70 miles. Not a great deal of problem with it. And then Thursday afternoon, driving home, down the motorway, 5 o'clock, rush hour, from Sheffield to Barnsley, 20 miles an hour. Don't know if you've got a current diesel car out there, they now have a system built into them that's called limp mode. Limp mode is when you get a bigger stick out and you start beating the back of the car, because you like doing that. And I was doing 20 miles an hour on the motorway.
Full
with wagons behind me, and the driver getting out and walking up the side of the car while I'm driving along, you know, saying, can you make it move a bit quicker, mate? You know, I need to get home tonight. I've got urgent delivery here. Cadbury cream eggs.
Melted.
Yeah. And I thought, well, this is embarrassing. It took me about half an hour to get home. And then when I got nearly home, there's a big hill we have to go called Worsborough Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to stop halfway up it. I thought, this is embarrassing. I had to stop, four-way flashes on. That was it. Get out of the car, even bigger stick. Hit it several times. Come on, you Vaux. You're nothing fun. You're Vaux. Anyway, eventually it started up again and started going up the hill, got me home. To which I said to Claire, who's videoing this, I'm not happy with that car. Tomorrow we will take it to the main deal, it's called Poo. So next morning we took it to Poo. And they said, ooh, ka-ching! And I thought, hey, I've heard that record Tony's made with his computer. And he said, worst case scenario, Mr. Richardson. And I was like, funny but nice. He said, worst case scenario, Mr. Richardson, £1,000.
That's your tongue, right?
And I said, I don't want ashtray empty. It's fine as it is. Just have a look at my car, see why it won't go. So, the story is, to cut it short, it's still at Spurs. And they had a quick look at it yesterday afternoon, ka-ching! And said, Mr. Richardson, the problem with your car, or part of the problem with your car, is the turbo boost pressure pipe, a split. And I went, pardon? He said a bit of pipe that comes off turbo split. It's got a big hole in it. So it won't let it do the particulate filter regeneration. And I said, look, there was nothing wrong with diesel engines in my generation, so don't start that one, you lad. And he said it's just one of the processes now that you get on new cars, you know, to stop it killing people and things. And I said, but all these wagons running around, they don't have all this paraphernalia on, they're fine. Anyway, he said, worst case, well, it's going to cost you 200 quid for this job. And by the way, did you know, while we were looking in your car, we also found a fault with the radiator for your air conditioning. Did you know there's a fault with it? And I said, no. And he said, ka-ching, well, that's going to cost £200 to put right. And I went, oh, blimey, ka-ching, 400 quid. And he said, and by the way, this pad's worn 70%. And I said, who's done that? And I said, I daren't dash you. He said, no, it's a bit cheaper, that. Yes. So I said, no, forget about them. Just get the blinking car going. So hopefully on Monday I may get a phone call saying, Mr. Richardson, your car, we've taken it to the scrapyard. Because there's so many dents in the back of it with this stick you've been using. So I think the next car I'm going to buy, it's going to be an IKEA flat pack. When it breaks down, I can just pick it up and take it to the garage. in a little suitcase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think James Bond had one like that, didn't he? Did he have a little helicopter that came out of the suit?
Yeah.
So the story continues. I shall keep you up to date with this next Saturday morning if you're interested in this. So the moral of this story is don't buy a feu and don't buy a Vaux.
Buy a Maz.
Buy Maz. No, they are ka-chinga. Oof. But at least can open his bonnet now.
Oh, good.
There must have been a.
No, that's not bad. That's how it started out there, weren't it?
Yeah. I mean, when they opened the
Meant to be
bonnet, you can imagine it went.
Give me some more.
Top
give
me
me some more.
oil up. Change me light bulb. I think if I was buying another car, I think it would have to be Rolls. A big Rolls.
Big one.
Butty, you know.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about the sandwich, that's all. No, I think IKEA ought to make cars. They'd be good in flat.
They do make one.
Do they?
God, Volvo.
No, it's called the Z.
Sorry, the
There are other cars out there, by the way. I might buy a Scania, actually. They don't break down all that much. Listen, if you don't, I noticed, if you don't put one of them big boxes on the back of a Scania, they break down less.
Is that true?
Yeah, and if you just park it up outside of a roadside cafe, even less problems.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get to harass anybody, because it just sat there. It's only when driver comes out after he's had his bacon roll, becomes a problem. And then he puts a big box on the back of it to tow it all over the country. What's that all about? It's a bit like buying a caravan, really, isn't it? Oh, move it out at yard and take it to the seaside.
Yeah.
Why would a caravan want to go to the seaside? I'm sure if he asked it, it'd say, no, I'm quite happy sat in back garden, to be honest. Then we talk some rubbish. Yeah. This will be on YouTube in the next hour. You'll watch.
Yeah.
You'll be able to watch all this and buy a full edited copy for ka-ching.
Help me pay this. Get out, Bill.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't pass your driving test, don't buy a car, and certainly don't pass go. Because it'll cost you ka-ching.